Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon. This is Rhonda Winstead, and I am so glad that you are joining me. I am going to, I started this video, but I'm actually going to put it on pause. I'm going to go to lunch with my son, daughter-in-law, granddaughter, and hubby, and I shall return. Don't go away. Okay, I am back from lunch. It was wonderful. We went to a Mexican restaurant we haven't been to for several weeks, maybe even months. Good food, great conversation. So anyway, it's great to be back here with you. And I hope that this video finds you happy and healthy and doing something that brings you joy. All right, so let's just kind of get started here, guys. So, as you will, if for those of you that are following a little bit along with my journal, my journal journey in really trying to figure out what I like and how to create my own so that I'm more likely to record my memories and such in them. In the last journal, the last video, you saw me create this cover. What you didn't see is after the video was done, remember I said, and I'll put the links below to the video, that I might add a little bit more. Well, I did. You know, more is more. And I'm just embracing it, honestly, because that's who I am. You know, this is part of me. I love it. So I added a little bit of selvage and some rickrack, and this is a Tracy label, and added some lace here and some rickrack here. And now I think this cover is gorgeous. I love it. It's got a wonderful combination of things that I enjoy. So now I'm like, okay, I want to create in this beautiful journal. And then what I did was I took 2 of my glassine bags. I have the different sizes, and I covered both of them, and I used Rachel's digitals for this. For this journal, I will switch out at different times, perhaps. I don't know. But right now, I'm working on this one, Botanical Journal Pages Kit 1, and loving that. So, the list. Remember the list? Here's my list. I just moved this over here so it would be easier. I decided to keep it, but what I also, I created another list. I put this and made it prettier. And I have stitched some of my fabric, a strip, and this actually came off one of those wraparound, it was a wrap or a tie for one of my journals, and I took it off and said I'm not really liking these wraparound ties. So I cut part of that and I stitched it on here, and I'm like, okay, I like that now. So what I did was I haven't used my typewriter. I have an old electric typewriter, and I love the typewritten look, but I haven't used it for quite some time. So I just, put it in my typewriter and did my do's and don'ts. But this is always subject to change. And then I added here embellishments to use, envelopes, small booklets, ruffles, pockets, tuck spots, clusters, snippet rolls, wax seals, folders, waterfalls, and of course these with a lot of the do's. They're kind of interchangeable, but I thought I would just put it down. And then on my papers, I added a couple since you and I talked, and one of those was piano player roll papers. Duh, Rhonda. I have a bunch of this stuff, you guys, and it's fabulous. And I used it when I first came across these, bought them in an antique store, and I made a bunch of envelopes. I did a digital or two that I put in my shop, and then I gradually just forgot about them and moved on. But I'm like, no, I don't want to forget about those. So I added that to my list. And then gardening page books. I mean, we've seen some amazing, there's Edith Holden. She's probably maybe one of the most well-known, but not necessarily, the best. There's some beautiful ones out there. Sewing book pages, cookbook pages, and then I added here at the bottom, painty papers. Those are, things that we create ourselves. So this is just a real basic list, but it does include a lot of what I am enjoying or what I have in the past and that I'm bringing back to incorporate so that my personal journal journey is more enriching. And I hope that you are doing something similar, whatever that may be. These are just ideas, but that you are mindfully thinking about your process. I mean, if you want to. Obviously, you guys, if this is not interesting to you, you're not going to watch the video, right? Or you may say hi to me and then you just zip on through it. And that's okay. This is really for those of you that are really interested in improving your process or learning about your process or just starting your process or just seeing what else is out there, double checking to make sure that your process is still your process and what you love, just something like that. I think this can be especially helpful for new journalers, those that are new to our junk journal world. And for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm so happy that you're here. I really am. I love people. I love the comments. I love sharing what I do with you. And I love the fact that our world has become so small that I can be in Arkansas and you can be in Australia or Germany or France or Italy or anywhere in the world, and you can see where you're at and adapt to what your customs are, what your styles are, what works for you. Okay, so enough of that. Let's just get going. And this is a sandwich bag. I love sandwich bags. They crinkle a lot, very similar to glassine. And glassine, oh my gosh, love glassine. Okay, so I'm utilizing a lot of elements that I love. So this is fun for me now. And this is super fun. And I just added Rachel's, some embellishments, added in the old piano player, yes, some other things, just to collage. When you are just thinking, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to work on, here's a thought. Just collage. Just get your scraps out and just start gluing. Just take a sheet and just glue. In fact, let's do that. I had a subscriber say one that, and I appreciate your, I've just been excited that you guys seem to be really enjoying this series, and I'm so happy that some of you are, and thank you for your amazing comments. I just appreciate it. It's just so much. Someone said, I can't wait to see what you do with the blank page. They scare me. Okay, so I thought, okay, let's go to a blank page. Let's do this and just see what we can do with it. Okay, one of the things I could do with this is I could go ahead and make a collage. I could glue all kinds of scrap papers on here and be very happy. But if I want to keep this more so that I can journal on it, I mean, man, that's a big space, isn't it? I could do a lot of writing. And I can see how that's terrifying, because I look at that big space and I'm like, I don't have that much to say. I mean, I do talk a lot. Ask my kids and my husband. I do chatter. But that's different, talking like I'm talking, you and I are talking, and putting it down on paper. That's a completely different story. This I have to use my writing, or I could type something or put it in Word and cut it out, you know, and then put it there. I could do that. But let's just to get started, well, let's get something a little bit bigger than that. Let me get a kind of a scrap piece of paper back. And these are good. What is this? Looks like I have some shiny tape. This is probably from a package or something. I don't really remember. But it definitely can make good papers to use, right? And here's a thought, guys. Aren't you just as important in your own journaling? Aren't you just as important as anybody that you would give a journal to or that you would sell a journal to? Don't you count? Duh. Yes, you do. I do. We do. Okay. So I'm going to tone down. And this is my coffee mixture. I'm going to tone this down right away. Okay. Already that doesn't look quite as scary. Still, you know, okay, it is what it is, but not quite as scary. And I will put this over here. And we'll get some of our pink. I do love pink. I love blue. I love pink. I love colors. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we really messed it up on the other side. It's a little bit. You know what? We're going to be okay with that. Now let's move this over, and let's just put our heat gun on here for just a minute and kind of dry that a little bit. So here's something you can do, my friends, is you can use some inks or paint mixed up, you know, at a consistency that is nice, that you can put in a spray bottle, and you can just color your paper. If you don't want to use inks or coffee or tea, you could also, I mean, you could paint on the back of that, you know, whatever you want to do. Okay, so there's the beginning. Here's the beginning. Now, oh, and in fact, I am going to keep my list handy. while I'm working. Because the reality is, I don't remember all these things all the time. And so I want to create in my journal just as much fun as if I were preparing something for you to create in my journal. Does that make sense? Anyway, okay. So, I've got sandwich bag, glassine bags, coffee dyed, all sizes, lace, crochet, doilies, hankies, quilting fabrics, quilt blocks, layered tags, trims, washi tape, library cards, fabric selvages, collaging, I Spy format, folded pages. Okay, so those are some of the do's. Embellishments, envelopes, small booklets, ruffles, pockets. Okay, so we got a bunch of choices here that we can add. And I just happen to have a few little things. I've got some clusters here that I have created previously, and these have been done on different papers. So you can take something that, and I put my book together. Notice this is put together. This is different for me because more often than not, I keep it loosey-goosey and then stitch it together after my pages are finished, which allows me to be able to take this and, for instance, stitch a bunch of things on there if I wanted to, and then put it back in. But obviously I can't take this to my sewing machine and do that. But that's okay. I want to try this method because I was finding the loosey-goosey for me was a little distracting also. It made me almost feel like I wasn't working in a journal because it was all, you know, so loose. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but at least it made a little bit of sense to me. So I'm just thinking that I could put a fun something, and then I could go ahead and still journal. I mean, look how gorgeous these are. And I have a video, or more than one video, where I have created these. I know I do. But, ooh, that's so pretty. Love those colors. Love it. I love them all, actually. The whole idea is to create things you love. The whole idea is to create things so that when you're looking through like this, you're like, oh, golly, I don't know what to do. There's so many choices. See, I think that's gorgeous too. See, there's no bad choice. And these are fabric, and I do have videos. I will try to find them and put those links in the description box below. But if not, go to my playlists and you can glance through there. These are fabric, this is paper. And I enjoy, obviously, both of them. Okay, you know what? This is one of those things, guys, that we could get stuck here for half an hour just doing that. So let's not. Let's just pick one and let's just go with it. And I like this because look at the blue and the blue that I'm seeing back here. And so I've got this going on here and I'm loving that. So I've got a fun fabric element. Something up here, I'm thinking, and maybe something down here. Let's get some washi tape and let's just kind of take a peek-see and see if there's anything that could be nice. This blue, I could bring in, oh, I kind of like that actually. You know, let's just, it's almost a teeny bit boring done that way though. All right, let's, something that I am learning, and you guys can help me out here. I'm not generally a fan of ripping up the washi tape, and you can see why, maybe because I really kind of suck at it. Let's try that again. Some of you are very good at ripping your washi tape in parts and pieces and putting part of it down and then the other part of it down, and I love that look, but I'm not really able to do that. Well, it's all about the journey, guys. Okay. This is fun regardless. I'm entertaining myself. Okay. And you know, there's no rhyme, there's no reason. I'm just putting this on, and then this is actually, I'm going to write about, let's see, the process. I'm going to write a little bit. Okay. And maybe even this here. Okay. I could do a little bit of stamping in here as I am trying to make this scary not so scary, right? And I think that it's becoming less intimidating. I don't want to do too much because I definitely want to be able to write and read what I've written there. And so I'm thinking one more. I'm coming over to get a different ink, different color ink. This is an old Stampin' Up! Stamp that I have had forever. I used to actually be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. For those of you that do Stampin' Up! But, you know, it seems like everything has its day, its time, its whatever, and then you kind of move on. Okay, you know, I'm kind of loving that. So let's go ahead and glue this down. And I'm going to use this kind of heavy-duty double stick tape to do that. I could go ahead and glue it. That would be just fine as well. I'm just using some of these other elements as I have them in my supplies. And I'm trying to use this a little bit more because I have several of these rolls. Bought them in a junk shop a couple of years ago. We were out junking with my son and daughter-in-law, and my son found them. He's like, "Mom, do you use this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. Thank you." And so I bought several. They were like only $1. And they've been very good for this kind of thing. So let's, whoops, oops. So let's put that down. Oh, you guys, is that just fun? Okay, so I'm going to put this on pause. I'm going to do my journaling, and then we'll come back to wrap up this video. All right. And here we are, finished with this. Started with a blank page that looked just like this. Let's see. I like it. I like it. As you can see, I added a little bit more because I didn't feel like I had quite that much to say. So I did that. Make sure to date your journal entries, guys. I found I was going back through some of my old journals, and I found that I hadn't dated. I had the day, but I hadn't put the year. And so I had to completely hunt and peck and try to find the year, and it was like, I can't believe I did that. But it's easy to do. All right, I am going to call that good for this video. So I want to thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope that you found something helpful or interesting, or just, you know, to hang out with me for a little while. I love you guys, and please, until next video, have a fabulous day. Bye-bye now.